ladies and gentlemen,
Mhm.
Game Club.
Okay.
Each week.
Mhm.
I'm just kidding.
No?
No. I didn't play the game because I didn't have time. But you played a game, and
That's
we're going
okay.
to talk about it. And that little game is called the Callisto Protocol.
I'll tell you about it.
Tell me about the Callisto Protocol.
I'll tell you all about it.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it right now. Did you
So-
finish it?
No.
Oh.
So first of all, it was added to Game Pass. That's why I was playing it.
Oh, yes. Very good.
But
very
it was
good.
added very, like when I would look at the Game Pass on the Xbox, it wasn't in Game Pass yet. It was like when it was added, right? It just said on my dashboard, hey, Callisto Protocol is added to Game Pass. But I went to Game Pass, it wasn't there. So I had to like go into the Microsoft Store, find it, and then download it via Game Pass that way.
Weird.
Yeah, it was very weird, right?
That's very weird.
That'll come into play later. But
Okay.
That's how I installed it, right? So Callisto Protocol is from the guy who produced the first Dead Space.
Yes.
So it's his studio he had. We talked about Callisto Protocol a billion years ago.
Yes,
Because
we
it was
did.
originally going to be part of the PUBG universe. Because that's how I first heard about it, was when they were saying there's this new game coming from the guy who did Dead Space, and it's part of the PUBG universe. And we were both like, that's so weird.
Yep.
Right? Eventually they were like, never mind, it's not part of the PUBG universe. But it was supposed to be like very similar to Dead Space. You're in outer space. There's bad things going on. Aliens, whatever. Figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And I was always interested in it. It came out to kind of middling reviews. People were kind of like, on it.
Yeah. I never heard anything good about it.
Yeah. People were kind of like, it's all right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I want to play it. I like Dead Space a lot. So this game starts similarly-ish to Dead Space. You're like in a spaceship, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The only difference is you're not on a space station. We're on the planet, or the moon, Chiron, I think. One of the moons of Jupiter? I don't know which planet it's the moon of. Anyways.
Yeah.
And like we're doing a thing, and so the characters are real people. They're scanned in. So
Yes.
like the main character is the actor Josh Duhamel. I don't really know what he's been in, except I think he was married to Fergie. He's like Fergie's husband or
Yeah.
something like that. So he's in it. We got our co-pilot guy. I don't know who he is. The main girl that was attacking our ship at the start is Kamiko from The Boys.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, Kamiko. There she is right there. And she talks. So you hear her voice. And then when I was streaming it, our friend the Tank was like, oh, there's a guy in this game that I follow on Twitch. He does a lot of voice acting and stuff like that. I can't think of his name. And then he like Googled it. He plays Captain whatever character name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our spaceship crashes. We get like helped by this guy, and it's the captain walks in. I'm like, oh, there he is. And you don't see his face because he's wearing a mask or whatever. And I'm like, oh, he's right here. Well, I'll see if I can recognize him. So then eventually they show his face. I'm like, oh, it's Starkiller. Like the guy who plays Starkiller, who's in like all these video game shits all the time. I know exactly who this guy is, right?
Yeah.
But the story is we've crashed. We think we're getting rescued, but we're actually being put into prison for some reason. They just like arrest us, and we're like, you're going to prison. He's like, I'm not supposed to be here. He's like, no, you're supposed to be here. You're going to prison. So we get put on the prison. We get equipped with some item to track you, but it's like how in Dead Space, you'd see your health on the back of Isaac's outfit. This, you see your health on the back of your neck all the time. So this game, Dead Space is all about the I don't know what his gun was called, but like his engineering gun. You'd shoot limbs off.
Yeah, it's a cutter.
Yeah, the cutter or whatever. This game is melee focused. So you have like your wrench you start with, and you're like beating the bad guys to death with it. You do get a gun, but the gun is just like, it does like the same damage as your wrench, basically. If not less damage, right? So it's all melee focused, but they fight you like you're Bruce Lee. I.e., they'll attack you one at a time.
Oh, yeah.
So there'll be two zombies, but only one will really be attacking you. And the way you fight is basically you just pull right trigger, you attack with your wrench, but you can dodge attacks. And literally, there's no timing involved for dodging. You just, before you're getting attacked, you hold left, you'll go left. Then you hold right, you'll dodge right, and then you just start swinging. So there's like no like timing involved in dodging or anything like that. So the combat is kind of like meh, whatever. And it's not scary. There's been a few times where I've been like, oh, you know, a little bit of a
Yeah.
jump scare, but like Dead Space did such a better job with
Oh yeah.
creating the mood of being scared in space. Whereas this, it just, everything is happening all the time. There's always a sound of like something crawling in the roof. So you think, oh, something going to drop down on me. But where in Dead Space, you would hear that occasionally.
Yeah.
This, there's always sounds going around you and nothing ever really happens. So it's just like, whatever. And then like in Dead Space, you would see like a body hanging down from the roof and then it'd be like, yeah, and it would get slurped into the roof or whatever. In this, I'll see it and just be like, oh, there goes that body. And then it'll slurped away, whatever. So it's not really getting the scares.
No,
you know,
they didn't really innovate on the genre. Just
it's
kind
not
of
even
overused.
innovation, really. It's just they're just doing it poorly.
Yeah.
Like Dead Space was so good. I mean, Dead Space is what came out like 2008.
Yep.
When I replayed it like last year, it was still scary. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's kind of just annoying in this one. Like something jumps out at you, and it's just like, oh,
Come on,
I got to
man.
stab this thing again. Like whatever. But as I was playing, and I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty good. The graphics are all right, you know. It looks pretty good. It's not like blowing me away graphically.
I thought the graphics were supposed to be amazing.
Well, that's what I thought too. But I was like, well, they're all right. And I'm like, well, maybe it's, you know, I turn off motion blurring, turn it on. Nothing really, you know, whatever. So I played it for the stream on Wednesday, 3 hours or whatever. Got fairly far through.
Yeah.
And I went to play it again Friday nights. And before I started the stream, I fired up Game Pass just to see if anything new is there. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Why is Callisto Protocol listed twice here? There's 2 different Callisto Protocols.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I installed the Xbox One version of it, not the Xbox Series X version.
Oh.
So I installed the Series X version.
Yep.
I was like, oh, now it looks a lot better. Now it's running at 60 frames per second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I just was like, oh my God.
You hamstringed yourself.
Yeah, basically. So I was like, oh, okay, it looks way better now. And I posted on my Discord, like, oh, I'm an idiot. I, did the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's cross save.
That's good.
So I was like, do I just restart it or continue on? And I was told to restart it. So I just whipped through the beginning section. I knew what I was doing. So it only took me like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to get through it.
Nice.
And I even found more stuff in the second time because I knew, like, that's the other thing. Dead Space, you get your suit, you have a map. You hit the button, it'll say like, go this way to go to the destination, whatever. In this one, there's no map and there's no like waypoints.
Oh.
So I'll get to a fork and be like, well, which way is the way I'm supposed to go? I'll go this way, right? And I'll be like, wow, this is going a long way. This must be the way to the story.
Yeah.
I want to adventure the other way. So then I'll go back and be like, going that way. And then it'll be like, oh, this was the way to the story beat. And the door closed behind me. So I missed
Can't
out
go back,
this area over here, which sucks because that's kind of what happened to me the first time is I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. So when this time I went this way, it's like, oh, I found a whole other gun that I didn't have.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, the gun, you can't get it. If you miss it, yeah, you just don't have the gun.
Yeah, you just don't have it.
You just don't have it.
Wild. That's wild.
The other thing too is you have your little, in Dead Space you had your like kinesis power and all that shit, you know? You have similar thing in Callisto Protocol, but there's no recharge stations in it, because in the other game you could go to a recharge station, get your power back, and it would slowly refill, right? In this one, there's no recharge station. It recharges so fucking slow. And the little batteries that you recharge with don't stack, and they only refill like one little pip on your thing. So there was a battle I had to do, like I called it a boss room, where I'm restarting the power, but while you're restarting the power, it takes a minute and you get attacked by these guys, right? And the idea is like, there's all these environmental kills in the game, so you'll like throw a guy into the gears and he gets ground up. So I was like, I'll use my powers and throw these guys into the gears. But like, I had 3 batteries and I didn't have enough power to do it all. I had to melee these guys.
Damn.
And it sucked. because it's not a very fulfilling fighting system.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. The story is kind of like, so far it's kind of like whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we on this planet? What happened to it? Why are there these monsters there? Like, we don't know anything. I'm kind of thinking that it's like a big test. It's like a real world testing of me, basically, as like a
experiment,
soldier, sort of. And also, like, obviously the characters in the game aren't thinking like, oh, I'm in a game. But there's a part where like the character Star Killer guy gets attacked by these zombies and he gets knocked out a window, and the character's like, well, he's dead. I was like, you really think he's dead and we're not going to fight him later in the game? Like, let's be real here, dude. But yeah, and then like the inventory, you literally have 6 inventory slots. I'm just like, there's too much shit to carry around. There's so far no inventory upgrades, and inventory upgrades are based off of spending credits you find.
Yeah,
which you'll kill a guy, stomp him, pick it up, 12 credits, like whoop-de-fucking-do. But you can find these things to sell, and they're worth $100 each or whatever. But they literally like take up 1 slot. It's just, and then the other thing too, like the gun I found, it's a blueprint. You have to print it, but the blueprint takes up a slot. So I couldn't even pick it up until I got rid of something out of my inventory. I was like, well, I have to take this, right?
Yeah.
But then other things where they're like, well, you need to do these puzzles with, like, not even puzzles really, but you have to open a door by putting a fuse in it or whatever. The fuses don't take up any inventory slots. So it's obviously they were like thinking about this thing. So like, why wouldn't they make the blueprint not take up an inventory slot? Or why wouldn't they make like the healing thing stack or something like that?
Yeah.
It's just very, very annoying that way so far. I'm liking it enough to continue on and beat it, but yeah, I can see why it got kind of middling reviews, you know?
Yeah.
They added a mode called Dismemberment Mode that I was like, this sounds like it makes it more like Dead Space, where you can shoot limbs off and stuff. You can break off their limbs when you're fighting them, but you'll shoot them in the limb in this regular mode and nothing happens. They just go,
my limb.
Yeah. Where I tried Dismemberment Mode and it was instantly shoot him in the legs blown off and they're crawling at you. And I was like, well, this makes the game so much better. But I was already way further in regular mode, so I'm just going to continue on in regular mode. Yeah, it's very much middle of the road. I can see why the reviews were kind of meh.
Yeah. I didn't read any good reviews about it.
Everything I saw was just kind of like, it's all right, you know? It could be better. It's no Dead Space, which is so true. It's no Dead Space.
Yeah.
The level designs are just, I'm trying to picture it in my head and like, wow, whoever built this place is an idiot.
There's no efficiency. It's just like one long corridor to one room.
Yeah. Or they'll go like just these weird looping ways to get to places and stuff. And it's just like, God, what? They have just like freedom to spider all over the place, you know?
Yeah.
Just very bad that way. But I mean, Game Pass, it was there. I wanted to try it out. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've played
it's
worse.
Literally free on Game Pass.
I'll continue to play it and beat it because why the fuck not?
Very good.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll have some time to play some Prey this week. I should, because everything is done.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Mean, if not, that's fine, but it'd be good to wrap that bad boy up.
For sure. Especially before the store actually opens, because then I'm really going to run out of time.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Callisto Protocol. I would say it's like a 6.
Oh.
6 out of 10.
Okay. Very good.
No, that's not very good.
No, it's a
all right.
C minus
it's
right
all
there.
Right. It's all right. That's what I'd say.
That's going to bring us... Oh, no, that's a D.
That's all right.
60% is a D. That's going to bring us to the end of this podcast. If you like what you heard, and I know that you did, make sure to leave us a rating. Leave us a thumbs up. Join the Discord down below and join in the conversation. And we are looking for that Monster sponsorship. So if you got the Monster on deck...
Hey, you going to carry Monster to the shop?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Monster.
Peachy Keen?
Maybe Peachy Keen. It all depends on what our suppliers can get.
He better fucking have Peachy Keen, man.
Yeah, and patreon.com/streamvoidpod. That's the only way to support this podcast with the hard-earned dollar dues.
Yep.
And with that being said, we'll see you guys again in 1 week's time.
Bye.
Bye.